Mm.
All this talk about gun violence in the summer, is it really real or is it all just hype and clickbait? Let's talk about it.
What's the capital of Zaire? I don't know that. Keeping it real.
Does crime really spike in the summer? I seem to always call BS on the news. When I see news, I'm more on the side of BS. But does it really spike? Let's see. In cities like Detroit and Chicago, when the first 90-degree temperature approaches, the headlines start writing themselves. The city braced for a summer crime wave. Mayhem in the heat, another bloody Memorial Day. If you grew up with flashing news tickers and front page stories, you might believe that violence is always exploding when the temperature gets hot. But if we take a closer look at the data and see how the news is packaged, it shows a stubborn gap between reality and the story we're being told. Here are 6 things that might change your mind about this summer crime wave. Number 1, seasonal bumps are real, but they're not apocalyptic. Yeah, crime goes up in the summer. The Bureau of Justice Statistics looked at almost 20 years of data and found that violent crime usually rises around late spring and summer, then drops in the winter. But here's the thing, it's only a 10% increase, not double or triple digit like the news sometimes makes it sound. The way it's covered can make it feel way bigger than it really is. Number 2, heat headlines get highlighted. A study from Pew Research showed that local news talks about violent crime, especially shootings, a lot more than it actually happens. In one year, homicides were only 1% of the crimes reported to police, but they made up 60% of the news time. Another study from Marquette Law found something similar. In one city, murders were less than 0.5% of real crimes, but they showed up in over half of the crime stories. Why does this happen? Because shocking stories get attention. There's an old saying, if it bleeds, it leads. And in the summer, more people are outside, it's longer daylight, so there's more video to capture, more chances to grab views. Number 3, perception versus reality. When FBI shared this 2024 report, it showed that murders had dropped by almost 12% across the country. Crime is actually going down. But at the same time, most people believe that crime was worse. Why is that? Researchers call it the mean world effect. If you're seeing crime stories on the news, social media, and even on podcasts, you start to think that the world is more dangerous than it really is. You feel like there's trouble everywhere. Number 4, the heat story is bigger than the poverty story. Researchers at UC Berkeley and San Diego found that even a small rise in temperature, just 1 degree, can lead to more violence. People get irritated faster, so there's more chance for conflict when everyone outside is hot. But the heat isn't the whole story. Things like poverty, rundown neighborhoods, and lack of support services make the problem worse. It's all connected. Still, the headlines skip the deeper reasons and just say the hot weather, summer is causing violence. But the truth is a lot more complicated than that. Number 5, don't believe the hype. It can all seem like crime gets worse in the summer, but a big part of that is how the media is telling the story. Fear gets clicks. News often focuses on violent weekends, even when crime is down overall. For people living in already stressed neighborhoods, seeing their zip code on repeat in crime coverage is exhausting. It drains hope and makes change feel impossible. Cities also pour money into the emergency policing patrols and any programs that they have, but they ignore long-term solutions like economic opportunities. It's a money grab. So the quick fixes keep getting all the funding, but the lasting change gets nothing and gets left behind. Number 6, we need some narrative shifting. Some news outlets are starting to shift how they tell the story. In cities like Philadelphia and Minneapolis, stations now include simple context banners like year-to-date shootings is down 14%. It's a small line, but it brings honesty to the headlines. And in places like where I'm from, in Detroit, a few stations have begun to tell their summer news stories with footage of block parties and neighborhood events before talking about these crime stories. It's a reminder that most warm weather stories are joyful, not violent. So summer does bring out more people. It's more heat, more chances for conflict. So yes, crime goes up a bit, but the media makes a small spike seem like a big surge, making tragic events feel like a yearly pattern. The truth is we're safer than the constant, consistent headlines make it seem. If we start asking for news that shows the full picture, not just the fear, we can shift this story. Maybe the next generation won't grow up dreading Memorial Day or just a sunny day. The real headline would read, "Brighter days ahead, falling crime, and endless sunshine in the city." Yeah, when I think about this talk, I never really believe the news. When the news is just saying, because when they say Detroit and Chicago, you know who they're talking about. They're talking about black people. And when they tell these stories, even, I'm going to tell you, even some of the TV shows that they have, where they have these crime TV shows where it's a drug dealer like Snowfall or BMF or all these shows, sometimes I don't like those shows that much, to be real with you. I watch them, and some of them, the storylines are okay. None of them are done in really good storytelling, but they're okay. But many times they'll overemphasize the crime. Now I grew up in the BMF neighborhood. I did see shooting, and it was dangerous at times. Don't get me wrong, but that ain't the gist of my childhood at all. It was playing bikes and playing basketball, and it wasn't like we was fighting every day. Now, the people who say they were, I don't believe them. There's a lot of liars out there, too, who claim that every day was a bad day. Yeah, some stupid idiots who got themselves in trouble, but most of my childhood was not ducking from gunfire, even though the news would make you believe that and these TV shows would make you believe it. So I just had to look a little deeper, and when I looked a little deeper, it's not as bad as they say it is, and actually it's getting better. So, all right.